Hello? Okay. Excellent. Very dramatic entrance there. Not entirely intended, but a bit of physical comedy never goes amiss. Yes, I'm all the way from Durham, and I'll hop back to the train station tomorrow. You know those pictures of cats and dogs that look like Hitler that appear in the Daily Mail on a regular basis to remind us who won the war? Ever wondered where these come from? Who supplies them? That's me. Now, it's a lucrative sideline. It's a lucrative sideline. In my day job, I teach German culture to ungrateful undergraduates at the Heritage Museum that is Durham University. Admission £9,000 a year, cheap at half the price. Yeah, I also work on German culture. I research it. I work on the culture of ruins in Germany. And I've done that for about 10 years. It's gone fairly well. At times, colleagues say, this is of an international standard, 4-star. But I've been told recently, actually, that my research has no financial value unless it has social impact. And this has confronted me with two demons that have haunted me throughout my life. First of these is Dr. Brian Cox, the well-known TV astrologer, who is held up to me as the very model of a modern academic, mostly because he's always on the fucking television. And the second problem I have is precisely this problem, or this problem. Anybody read the Metro? Birmingham Metro edition. Elvis. Anyone read this? You must free, you don't have to pay for it. Anyway, the real reason why Elvis left the building, apparently it was Hitler. In the middle, you can't quite see, it's a picture of bloody Hitler. Okay. That's the problem I have. I want to talk about European culture, but you, the audience with whom I should engage, are force-fed a diet of Blackadder, Fawlty Towers, Niall Ferguson. And all you want me to do is tell jokes about a funny man with a funny walk and a funny moustache. And I don't do John Cleese jokes. So in order to, how did I solve this problem? Basically, I turned to Brecht. Remember we're supposed to be talking about Brecht tonight? I'm talking about Brecht. I turned to Brecht, because I followed his strategy, dramatic strategy, of defamiliarization. How many in the audience have heard of defamiliarization? Well, one or two or three. Excellent. Theatre experts. We are in a theatre, after all. Defamiliarization means detaching the audience from what's going on stage so they see the world in you from a slightly different angle. And I first learned this actually through the Brecht scholar John Willett. Anyone heard of John Willett? John Willett, very good. Are you a Germanist?
I'm German.
Wow. John Willett translated the word verfremdung. What does the word verfremdung mean? Defamiliarization. Alienation is what I get in my job as an academic. Okay, I know all about alienation, but defamiliarization is that strategy of detaching the audience from what's going on stage so they reflect and see the world anew. So, I learned this from John Willett, and I studied Life of Galileo. How many of you here have seen Life of Galileo? It was on recently. I know you had to pay for it, but never mind. Okay, so Life of Galileo, I studied this at school. Did you study it at school? You don't remember, that's always very worrying. So that's the impact that Brecht made. So, Life of Galileo, I studied at school, it's about the ethics of the scientist and the application of science and its political application. And it's very interesting from that point of view. Now, in 1984, when I was studying this particular play, Brian Cox was getting a D in maths. Obviously the prerequisite for career as an astrologer. And secondly, he wasn't on the telly. I was on the television. Anybody remember 1984? Any of you born 1984? I was on the BBC TV quiz show, Ask the Family. Yeah, that's obviously rung a lot of bells. It's on YouTube, honestly, and so I was on this program, and I appeared with a very neat haircut, very nice hard parting tank top, the very model of an academic son, which I am. And because of our ability to recognise objects that have been photographed from a defamiliarised angle, such as cheese graters, My brother will hate me for that. We won! We were named the brainiest family in Britain by Robert Robinson. The only TV personality of that era not currently on trial. Now, one of the beauties of that was that we would appear the next year on the next series, The Winners Always Returned. And scolding Brecht and desiring to bring down the bourgeois establishment and familiar with defamiliarization, I planned meticulously my appearance for the year after. I was going to wear a "Never Mind the Bollocks" t-shirt, I was going to have a Mohican haircut, and I was going to have a leather jacket covered in swastikas. I've obviously got rid of them today for reasons of good taste, which I'm obviously very interested in. So, that was it, that was the plan. And then the fucking bureaucrats of the BBC bloody cancelled the series. And they replaced it with Telly Addicts. The first stage in the dumbing down of British culture, which has led us all the way to Big Brother, W1A, and all other programmes which are just television about television. There's no substance anymore. Now, one of the things my esteemed colleague in the audience would be aware of is that Brecht often used narrator figures as a way of distancing the audience from the material on stage. And this is not about me. I know I'm telling the story of my life. It's not about me. It's about impact, science, and jokes. So what I need is a narrator to tell my life. And Noel Edmonds, the inventor of Mr. Blobby, that ring any bells? Gosh, you've forgotten it. It's all hidden away. Mr. Blobby and Crinkly Bottom. And also, of course, as you will not remember, the host of Telly Addicts. Okay, he would be the man to narrate my life, but sadly, he's not answering my calls. He thinks I'm some kind of prankster, like Chris Morris. So what I need is someone to volunteer to come and be Noel. And it's gone very quiet. Can I have any volunteers for Noel, the role of Noel Edmonds? No, I'm not asking you to do anything dangerous. I mean, it's not like he's some other personality from the 1970s I'm not going to mention. You know, anyone from Essex? A man from Essex! The man of Essex! Hooray! Hello, sir. What's your name? Thank you, David. Speak into the microphone now. Okay, so David's going to be my narrator. I have a script for him.
Good.
There's always these comedians, they get their bits of paper out and they say, "Oh, someone wrote this about me on the internet." There you go. Okay, so Noel is going to take us through the rest of my life, and I'm going to fill in the bits in between.
It is the year of our Lord, 1988. Simon Ward is reacquainted with Brecht at a lecture at Oxford University.
Yes, University of Oxford, I think you'll find. Okay. Yes, indeed, there I was. At this lecture, which was given by Dr. Tom Kuhn, Brecht scholar, who will be here tomorrow and on Saturday talking, so sadly he's not here tonight. He also wasn't answering my calls. Dr. Tom Kuhn, also at this lecture, however, were the post-comedic comedian Stuart Lee. You might not know what post-comedic means. Post-comedic means no jokes, it really annoys you. Secondly, the future British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. And thirdly, the future Universities Minister, David Willits. Now, if you remember the name I mentioned before, you'll realise that David Willits is the son of John Willett, okay, the Brecht scholar. He added an S to his name to denote the two brains he has, neither of which he used in devising the student food regime which we have and is currently falling apart. Enough of the political satire, back to the lecture. Dr. Kuhn said the play is not about scientists, it's about the public intellectual per se, and it has to be seen in his socio and economic context. So, if we look at Life of Galileo, which some of you have seen recently, starts off in Venice, in the Venetian Republic, in a free market economy where on a 0 hours contract he has to basically steal ideas off the internet and sell them back as his own for profit. Now, he then moves to Florence, where he has a more secure position, but the Florentine court doesn't really like the social impact of his research. So he suggests that the Earth goes around the sun, rather than being static. And the Florentine court thinks, hold on, this is a bit of a threat to our sense of the natural political order. And of course, Florence is under the control of the Pope. So one day, Spanish Inquisition come calling. And Galileo has to recant. He spends the rest of his life as an itinerant stand-up comedian, telling jokes, very bad jokes, while masking his research through this humorous material. Let me give you a couple of examples. Knock knock!
Who's there?
The Spanish Inquisition.
Spanish Inquisition.
Wow, you're better than me. That was fantastic. Okay, you don't even know Monty Python. There's really no hope for us. Okay, here's another one. You'll know this one. Why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to the other side.
No, because the Earth goes around the sun, of course. Okay, now that joke sounded better in 1632, but Dr. Kuhn had inspired me to become an academic, mostly because I thought I could mask political satire through educational material. I then started my PhD, back to the narrator.
The year is 1994. Dr. Brian Cox plays keyboards in D Ream. Simon Ward is in a student band at St John's College, Oxford, with the future Brecht scholar, Professor Charles Mockney.
Yeah, and we were radical. We wanted to bring down the establishment with our student band. So we took another Brechtian idea, which is material. Basically, Brecht's plays are not to be admired from afar, but actually to be reused as material for the present. So we bought a karaoke machine and pumped out the song Blur tune, Park Life. Remember that?
Yep.
Gosh, yes. How's it go? Park Life, very good, excellent. Park Life. And over that I intoned songs about the isolated, impecunious existence of an Oxford postgrad. Now, as you can imagine, there wasn't much of an audience for that kind of material at all. We made no money, we had no impact. Well, Professor Brian Cox was earning literally, he's funny now, was earning literally pounds making money from D-Ream. And I sat in my lonely room and I thought, things can
Only get better.
Thank you very much. Okay, and so let's make a proleptic leap.
It is the year 2024. Lord Brian Cox is Minister for Science Communication in the Third Michael Gove-led coalition. Simon Ward earns £5 an hour teaching Brecht to the children of David Willett, the grandchildren of John Willett, who pay £37,000 a year for the privilege, the vast majority of which is spent on Vice-Chancellor's bonuses.
Oh, satire from the narrator there. Really? No, you may think you own the BBC, but you're wrong. You're wrong, because actually my main income stream comes from the advertising revenue I get from my YouTube channel, in which I've gathered all the Hitler cat and dog videos that have been made in the universe. Now, you may think this makes me complicit with a regime I ostensibly detest, but no, because remember those Downfall videos that are kind of remixes of Downfall where Hitler does a rant? I have a cat speaking in the middle of this video, and it says the following. Let's do it. I am Brian Cox. I stand on the television screen. Behind me, the ruins of the British education system. I study stars. I am a star. All I can say is, pity the land, pity the education system that needs heroes.
Well, Simon, you'd better be going now. You've got an appointment with the Non-Academic Activities Committee first thing tomorrow morning.
I better get off then. Cheers, thank you very much.
Yes, I continue to feel a bit